Imagine planning the most important day of your life and finding out your parents want your sister, the golden child who's made your life miserable, to walk down the aisle first, in your venue, in her wedding dress. That's what my parents demanded, and honestly, for a second, I thought I was being pranked. But what they didn't know was that my husband and I were already planning the sweetest, most devastating revenge of our lives. If you've ever been underestimated, gaslighted, or treated like you didn't matter, hit that like button, because this story, this one's for you. Subscribe if you love seeing karma hit exactly where it hurts. Now, let's start.
Ever since I could remember, my parents had a favorite child, and it wasn't me. If my sister sneezed, they'd bring her soup, tissues, and a blanket. If I got sick, they'd ask what I did wrong to catch it. She was their pride, their miracle, their everything. I was the other one. Birthdays, my cake was always her favorite flavor. Family trips, always where she wanted to go. Even when I was the one celebrating something, it somehow turned into her event. And when we got older, things went from unfair to cruel. My sister started losing friends in middle school, and suddenly I wasn't just ignored, I was targeted. If I made friends, she'd lie to our parents, say they were bad influences. If I got good grades, they'd accuse me of cheating. They grounded me for having friends. But somehow, she was lonely and needed extra attention. It was like living in a house where every rule bent around her comfort and snapped against mine.
College was my freedom. For the first time, I could breathe. I made friends. I started to heal. And then I met him, my husband, the kind of man who doesn't just talk about standing up for what's right, he does it. If I'm the quiet storm, he's the lightning strike. Where I'd freeze in the face of cruelty, he'd smirk and plot. So when we got engaged, we agreed to keep things simple. Small ceremony, big honeymoon. Europe, just the two of us. Then came that call. My parents insisted on meeting my fiance before the wedding. I should have said no, but I thought maybe time had softened them. Maybe they'd changed. Spoiler alert, they hadn't. When my husband came back from that meeting, his face was pale, and then he started laughing. He said, "Babe, you won't believe this. Your parents just gave us the plot twist of the century. They'd offered to pay for our entire wedding, but only if my sister got to walk down the aisle before me in her own wedding dress. Their excuse? It's not fair for a younger sister to marry first." My husband said his brain short-circuited for a second, and then, in true him fashion, he smiled. "All right," he told them, "let me think about it." He walked out of their house grinning, already whispering to himself, "Oh, this is gonna be good."
We spent that night plotting. Not screaming, not crying, plotting. We knew if we just refused, they'd spin it. They'd say I was selfish, that I didn't want to share. But if we agreed, we could make them pay, literally. So my husband went back, said he'd help make it happen, and convinced them of one more detail. That I was so jealous and controlling that they couldn't text or email him about it. No paper trail. Everything had to be discussed in person. They bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. From then on, it was like a con game. Whenever we met vendors, my husband would pick the cheapest options, then secretly take my sister to see them, pretending I was forcing us to stay budget-friendly. Cue my sister demanding the expensive stuff, which my parents happily paid for. They upgraded our venue, our food, our flowers, our photographer. We called it our emotional damages reimbursement plan. And when they picked out a hideous dress they wanted me to wear, my husband faked ruining my real gown by showing them scraps of fabric he pretended to tear. They were thrilled. They thought they'd broken me. Meanwhile, we were sitting in our apartment laughing so.
Afterward, people pretended nothing had happened, probably to protect me. But the whispers continued about them. Later, my husband showed me clips people had filmed. My parents screaming, my sister's mascara-streaked face, my family's disgust. It was poetic. For once, I wasn't the problem. I wasn't the liar. I wasn't the scapegoat. And the best part, we had a beautiful, expensive wedding, paid entirely by the people who tried to ruin it. They've tried to contact me since. My sister sent a message full of rage and denial, accusing my husband of tricking them. He printed it out and joked about framing it. We blocked them all, sent the screenshots to the family group chat with a note, "Please help stop them from ruining our honeymoon too." That was the last we heard from them. Looking back, I used to wonder why they hated me so much. Maybe I was unplanned. Maybe they just needed someone to blame. But honestly, it doesn't matter anymore. Because for once in my life, I got to stand up for myself and walk down that aisle knowing I finally won. If that ending gave you chills, hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And tell me in the comments, what would you have done if your sister tried to steal your wedding? Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this where karma hits just right. Until next time, remember, sometimes the best revenge is letting your enemies write the check for their own down.